Awesome. A big hello to our Highlights Foundation family. We're so happy to have you here with us. For those that may not know me, I'm Kat Galliano. My pronouns are she, her. I'm the social media manager for the Highlights Foundation, joining you from Westchester, New York, on the traditional lands of the Siwanoy people. Apart from all the fun things I get to do at the Highlights Foundation, I am also a writer and a reader myself, who is very excited to welcome our friends and faculty, Julie Dao and Wendy Xu, who will be hosting the Working Retreat for Novelists and Graphic Novelists on our beautiful Highlights Foundation campus next month, May 19th and through May 22nd, with special guest Sarah Gomez-Willie. But before we dive in, I want to remind our viewers that joining in any Highlights Foundation sessions to do so with no hate, no harm, and no harassment of any kind. And now let's get started. So my first question, I'm going to start with Julie and then to Wendy. Julie, you'll be talking about character arcs in your presentation. And for those that may not know, Julie, Wendy, and Sarah will be giving a presentation each day. So just so everyone knows, and you're going to be talking about character arcs in yours. I know so many of your stories are character driven. What makes you want to bring this message to the people who are coming to the retreat now? And then I'm going to ask Wendy, of course, the same.
Sure. I love character in books and movies and TV, anything that I'm watching, anything that I'm consuming. I'm always thinking about the trajectory of the character and how they progress throughout a story because I've read a lot of books where the character just jumps out at me and I feel like I enjoy the story more when I trust the person who's kind of holding my hand, even if I don't like them. Those are the interesting characters, right? The ones that interest you, but you don't
Mhm.
necessarily agree or like them. So writing a character that feels real, that feels
Mhm.
tangible, that feels like someone you can follow through a story, I think that's really, really important for a writer to finesse. And it's something I'm always working on myself. I've got 9 books out or under contract now, and it's still a work in progress every time. It's something so fun to put together like a puzzle. So that's what I'm hoping to encourage our attendees to do as well.
That's so wonderful. Wendy, I'm not sure if your presentation title has been revealed, but if there's anything you'd like to add about what you'll be sharing on campus.
Yeah. So as a comics artist, and like a really like a connoisseur of all kinds of animated media, the best kind of comics and media, in my opinion, are the kind that treat the background as a character in and of itself.
Mm.
Whether that's in the visual, it's a lot of it's in to do with the visual storytelling, but also color and um, the writing of the story can also have an effect. But in my presentation, I'm going to talk about how we have to respect the background as not just a set of our stories, but as like a character in and of itself,
Yes.
and to encourage people to really think about the settings of their stories. There's so much energy in places, and I think that's like very often underutilized.
Hmm.
I'm definitely encouraging people to explore that as well. And also, as an artist, it's really important to do a lot of live studies. So, um, during my time, I'm hoping to lead a lot of like live study drawings, and we can do some fun exercises in ways that maybe people haven't thought about. We do a lot of traditional figure drawing, right? But there's lots of different ways to study the world. And some of my background is an amateur historian, not a historian, but I'm a fan of traditional East Asian painting and the philosophy behind that. And so I know when people think of live studies, a lot of times they think of Renaissance era art and
Hmm.
Da Vinci and like hyper realism. But I think there's lots of ways to study the environment, and to study other people in our art. And so I want to bring a little bit more of like the philosophy that I'm interested in into that.
Thank you for sharing. Because you know what? If you think about it, like some of the best stories we read, you really think of the setting as such an important element of the story. You think of the characters and like of course the plot, but then you're like, oh my God, that story took place in New York City, and like, oh my God, like just the city just like came through so vibrant in that story. And so I love that you'll be talking about that. And Julie, like character, I mean, I was just having a conversation with a friend the other day because we went to go see a Broadway show, and it was like a very va va voom
Oh,
one, and then we had a
which
conversation of
one?
like it was Back to the Future, which is very
Nice.
fun. But he asked me like what my personal favorite show was, and it was Once, which is a very character-driven show, and it was not va va voom in the least. It was a very simple set, and I'm like, it's because the characters spoke to me, and I connected with them, and I felt the reality of them, and they were just there. So
Exactly.
like, oh, these topics sound so awesome. I'm so jelly of the people that'll get to hear it and be on campus with you both. So, oh, very, very excited to hear that. So my second question is, we know that one of the cool aspects of a working retreat is actually time to work on those projects while sharing community with other creative people. What types of projects are you bringing to work on? Or what stage of the process are you on? Of course, only if you can say or tease, because we know some things you can't say. And of course, what are you most looking forward to? Like, what kind of moments are you most looking forward to while being there?
Should I start?
Yeah, Julie, go ahead.
Okay. I have a book that I'm really excited about that's coming out this fall. It's my adult debut. So up till now, I've only written for young adults and for middle grade readers, and this is going to be my first foray into the world of adult publishing. And it's going to be a sexy, dark adult retelling of Dracula, but with a BIPOC cast.
Oh,
So it's from the perspective of one of Bram Stoker's original characters, Lucy Westenra. She has Vietnamese heritage. Quincy Morris is a Black American cowboy. Dr. Van Helsing is a Chinese Dutch physician who is a leading blood specialist. So I'm bringing a lot of BIPOC energy into this Victorian English story, and I'm so excited about it. So it's coming out October 1st. So what I'm bringing to work on at the retreat is going to be the sequel, because that's going to come out a year after
oh
the first one. So
wow.
I'm trying to put that down as quickly as possible. It's in the drafting stage, so it's very much a hot mess right now. I'm just, typing everything that I can think of, and I'll fix it later. So that's what I'm going to be working on at Highlights. And something else that I'm interested and really, really excited and looking forward to is just connecting with other writers, because it's Wendy, as you know, and you too, Kat, because you're both writers as well. It's just very isolating
Mhm.
to create in solitude most of the time. So getting to talk to other people and share experiences and just share some vibes, I think it's going to be really, really fun and inspiring.
Oh, wow. Wow, that sounds. We have some comments saying, wow, huge Dracula fan. So I'm just like, that sounds so cool.
Good. Thank you so much.
I'm really excited. I love Van Helsing. He is so crazy. Like
He's
in
nuts.
he is bananas.
He's
Like
not as nuts in my book, because I want him to be like, I want him to be the voice of reason instead of just like off the walls like he is in the original
in
story.
I remember in Dracula the part where he was like, "Oh no, she died," and then he turns to these men who are like very obviously mourning her. He's like, "We have to cut off her head now."
We got to do
He's
it.
like,
No time to waste.
"We have to do it right now," and they were like, "Oh my god."
And he
But yeah,
makes her fiance do it, like
yeah,
the man
it's
who's
so.
going to marry her the next day, or who was supposed to.
And then there's the part where they're breaking into the to one of the estates and he just pulls like a crowbar out of his bag and I'm like, why did you
The
have
moral
that?
of the story is we can't wait till October 1st because the story is going to be the story of the spooky season. So I can't wait for it.
Hope so.
Wendy,
Thank
what will
you.
you be working on?
Um I haven't announced it publicly yet because I've been hoarding it to myself, but I'm working on my third graphic novel with HarperCollins. It's a YA fantasy based on Chinese mythology. It's tentatively titled Year of the Fox, and it's about
Ooh.
fox spirits who run a cafe with their very hapless human friend who is
Wow.
Earth. And it's got all the things that I love. It's got hot boys and um
Important.
it's it's like it's cozy, but it's also about death and grieving because the fox spirits run a cafe in the interspace between here and the underworld. Um
That
Wow.
sounds that sounds like it's gonna tear my heart into a thousand pieces. And I also need it to be a game on Nintendo Switch
I would
immediately.
I would love it to be a game,
Immediately.
but there's yeah, there so it's about there's three main characters, and two of them are fox spirits. One of them's a human, and the baddie I'm really excited to be sketching because he's just like, I don't know if anyone here watches C dramas, but he's kind of like the sexy bad boy type, and so he's a butterfly demon.
Wow,
We like that.
Yeah,
we love this.
but so I should have notes back by the end of the month for developmental edits and for like the green light to keep going. I've already drawn the first 3 chapters in pencil, so I'm gonna be busting my butt on the rest of those pencils, and hopefully you'll see it. I don't know. Graphic novel schedules are
Wonky.
a bit wonky. Hopefully you'll see it in years.
Wow. Wow, I
That sounds
I
amazing.
again, I wish I was on campus so I could like peer over your shoulder to see what this looks like because this my brain right now is just kind of like envisioning what it could be. So, wow, that sounds so awesome. Thank you for sharing that with us. I think everyone in our comments is hyped. So, so oh man, that sounds so exciting. Thank
Oh,
you both for sharing those projects. Wow, we have lots of good stuff to look forward to then. My third and final question is, what do you hope that people leave the retreat with in their journey to inspire kids through story?
Well, I'm hoping that people remember how amazing it is to be artists and to be able to create art. I think that being in publishing, for me especially, I've been struggling kind of mentally lately with the business aspect. I mean, I've struggled all these years, this whole decade of being a professional author, of dealing with the side of the business that I don't like as much, which
Mm-hmm.
is the sales, the reviews, the optics and social media, all the things that we can't control. What I care about most is the art. That's
Mm-hmm.
what brought me into this, my passion for writing. It's something that keeps me going. So I hope that the attendees will come and just remember how amazing it is to write stories and to tell stories. And one of my exercises that I'm going to do is a writing prompt card game where I'll just pull out
Mm.
a card and we'll just write whatever the character, the setting, the idea for 15 minutes and just see what comes out organically. So it's just getting back to the fundamentals of being passionate about writing for me.
agree
That's
with
beautiful.
agree with Julie. I think social media tends to make people insane. Um, and also the sales, the schedules, all of these things in publishing. I don't like the business aspect of it, definitely. I feel you.
It's the least fun.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
but I hope that people come and they're just really excited to make art. I'm always excited to make art. I teach art just to teenagers, and they're like the energy that they bring to my classes just always is so inspiring to me. And so I hope to channel a little bit of that like teen passion. And it's also, you know, making art has always been part of my core memories as like
Mm-hmm.
a teenager. And whenever I'm struggling with the business aspects of it, I always think about those memories.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I hope people come excited to make art, and also like I've heard great things about the food highlights. Um,
The food is so good. Chef Amanda. I will eat anything that woman makes.
Chef Amanda, and we have another Chef Megan too.
Oh,
So
I
both
haven't
of them are
met Megan.
A
Okay.
plus.
yeah. And this is my first retreat, so like thank you, Julie, for inviting me, and thank you, Kat, for
Of
setting this.
Yay, that is so wonderful to hear because I truthfully have been to campus many, many times. And you know what? Even though I've been there, I think upwards more than 20 times at this point over the last couple of years, the magic for me is still real every time. So I'm so excited for you to experience your first time and for Julie to come back. And thank you so much to both of you for hanging out with us for those couple of days and for inviting our fellow novelists and graphic novelists to spend time with you in community. And of course, if you'd like to spend time on our beautiful campus with Julie and Wendy, please make sure to sign up for our working retreat for novelists and graphic novelists from May 19th to the 22nd with our special guest, Sarah Gomez Woolley. You can register on our website, highlightsfoundation.org. And lastly, you can purchase Julie and Wendy's books on our virtual bookshop powered by bookshop.org. Just before we go, I want to ask you if you want to add anything else before I like fully wrap it up.
I don't think so. I'm just really really excited to do this. I'm excited to return to highlights. This is going to be my fourth time back, and I knew that Wendy would be an amazing person to teach this with and to just lead the retreat together, because we're both, very creative and very hardworking people, and I love supporting other BIPOC creators. So I'm hoping that people come for a nurturing, relaxing, inspiring 3 days with
Oh,
us.
wonderful. Wendy, anything else?
No, that's pretty
No?
much it, Julie. You summed it up. I will say, um, if you ask me for critique, I will be pushing. I will push you artistically.
That's great to
um,
share, actually.
but
Thank
yeah,
you.
I love talking about craft, and I love to do this with other artists. So I'm very excited.
Yes, optional critiques, by the way, if you want to
Oh
sign
yeah,
up,
yeah.
both faculty, yes. So I think. But yes, thank you so much to you both. Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Wendy. Thank you for hanging out with me here on Instagram. And for those of you that are thinking about going, I think you should definitely sign up. We have payment plans. Trust us, we want you there. So call us, email us. We want to work with you to make sure that you can come. And if not, if they're not this year, then hopefully next year.
It's a tax write-off if you do decide to come. By the way.
It's true.
That's the biggest incentive, people. I'm going to remember that.
Oh
Thank you,
yeah.
Wendy. Thank you, Julie.
Thank
Have a
you.
good
Thanks
rest of
so
your day.
much,
Bye,
Kat. Thanks,
everyone.
Wendy. Bye,
Okay.
everyone.
Bye,
Thanks for
everyone.
coming.
Yep.
Bye bye.